Oh hey, I didn't see you there. I'm Metagross Freak. Welcome to my channel. This is a dumb opening. Today I'm taking a look at Transformers The Last Night Autobot Drift. This is kind of a similar-ish mold, kind of to his Age of Extinction counterpart. I unfortunately do not have it to compare, but here's Drift. He is a master swordsman. I've got a really nice, like, full body artwork of him here. That looks really nice. It's a really good looking artwork. I like that. And he turns this time into a black and red sports car. He's a Mercedes. He turns into a Mercedes. He's got the little logo on his chest. He's got it on the front of his car. And it's really weird because he's the black car with red accents who turns into a red robot with black accents. Basically, he wears his robot, he wears his vehicle mode as a backpack. Kind of like Age of Extinction, Galvatron, except not as dumb. He transforms in 10 steps, which means there's probably going to be a lot of either parts forming or shell forming going on. But this is the only figure they released for him. I did review another Drift figure a while back that was the Alpine Drift from Robots in Disguise, which is loosely based after his Gen 1 appearance, so I'll be reviewing that when I get into vehicle mode. But let's get this open. Here's Drift in robot mode, and I am really disappointed by the quality control on this figure. I have some joints that are really tight, like this shoulder over here. Requires a good amount of effort just to articulate his arm up and down. Same with the kind of these joints around the elbows. They're very tight, makes for good poses. The legs, however, are very loose. I mean, look at that, look at this. I can just easily lift up a leg and then just lightly pushing it, it flops back down. That one's not as bad, but it's pretty loose. You can see I can easily just effortlessly push it back and forth. The ankles are also really loose too, meaning... Oh, and the hips. Yeah, because the hips very loose, meaning you're going to have a hard time, at least for me, I'm going to have a hard time putting him in poses where he won't fall over. I mean, I'm just trying to get him to stand up, and he's already kind of flopping. Head sculpt is kind of nice. The actual character has blue eyes, and the picture on the box shows him with kind of a more yellowish gold face, and having looks like kind of either greenish, like teal, or blue eyes. His eyes are not painted on my figure, so I'm not sure if that is a just a production error, or if it's maybe just a choice that Hasbro / Takara decided to go with on their figures. Here's another example of a floppy joint. That's just, its quality control is really bad on my particular figure. I'm sure yours will be a lot better. For accessories, he comes with 2 katanas and 2 washizaki. The katanas, of course, are the longer blades, and the washizaki are the shorter blades. He comes with 2. He comes with 2 of each, and they have pegs, as you can see, so they can plug into his back and other ports, I guess, if you have available ports. Mine has a really weird issue with all 4 of them. Let me see if you can see it. All 4 of them being a little warped. Like, I mean, I know that thinner plastic, but they're kind of bendy, and mine are all a little curved. So I'm not sure if that was due to heat in the truck, or maybe a production error, like the plastic didn't galvanize properly. But yeah, I mean, look at this one. This one's pretty bad. I mean, I'm holding it like that. You can see there's a clearly visible arc. Like if I bend it like that, it kind of straightens out, but I don't know. All 4 swords are like that. Don't tell Zelda, but all 4 swords are bendy. So that's kind of disappointing. I mean, the other Drift I have has better swords, and he only has 2. He has 1 katana and 1 washizaki, and his are better quality. He also doesn't have any sheaths on his waist like my other Drift does, so that's a little disappointing. The only place he can store his swords are the 2 ports on his back, so he can either have two swords pointing up, his washizaki's pointing up, or his katana's pointing down, but that kind of, I don't know, it because of the way the backpack works, it doesn't plug in well. See, it popped off and I didn't even have to touch it. He does have these rather nice pauldrons. I'll admit that from the front they look kind of dumb, and from the back they look kind of dumb, but from the sides they have very nice molding on them. And of course head is on a ball joint, so you can get some nice poses with that, but I mean, Here he is for comparison next to the next to the last night mold for crosshairs. They're roughly about the same size, though I think based on the crest, Drift is a little bit taller, but if you're just going based on the top of the main head, crosshairs is maybe a hair or two taller. Also, his vehicle mode folds up fairly nicely. Meanwhile, Drift's is just kind of crumpled. As you can see, it's just kind of crumpled up on his back, and I did plug it in correctly. When it comes boxed, like hanging down on his butt, you have to lift it up and plug it in on his back. So I do have it correctly, but you can, yeah, just the quality control on these legs is really kind of pissing me off. I'm going to transform it now into vehicle mode before I say something I regret. Here's Drift, and here is Mercedes-Benz mode. He's got his only visible Autobot symbol up on top of his roof, which is okay, I guess. I don't even remember Drift having an Autobot symbol, but I guess it's better than just having a Mercedes-Benz symbol on your chest. For the record, he does have yet another Mercedes-Benz symbol right here on the front of his car. And other than being able to see, you know, a good chunk of the robot through the chest, through the windshield, because he's got a really big windshield, especially on the back, it's not a bad vehicle mode. It rolls decently well on my mouse pad. Doesn't roll as well on wood, but what do you expect? It's wood. Storage for the 4 swords is really limited, which is a little disappointing. You can, because of the pegs on the feet, and the instructions actually recommend this, you can plug in the feet, the katanas on the bottom of the feet. By the way, you can clearly see how it transforms based purely on his pose. It kind of works, as you can see. That's a lot of stick up because of all the warping on the swords. It's not great. That looks kind of bad in my opinion. Vehicle does fold up fairly well. You can, if you look carefully, can see a little bit, like up here, a little bit of gappiness, like down there. That's not terrible. I may have just transformed the shoulders a little improperly, but yeah, overall not bad. Here he is in comparison with Robots in Disguise Alpine Drift. You can see this version of Drift is a little bit wider, mostly because of the way the arm panels fold up. Yeah, mostly because of how the arm panels fold up. You can see they're about the same length. They are about the same height. I'd say overall they're good. They're both good figures. There isn't really a way to store the washizakis, though, because these are the only 2 pegs. I am assuming that in order to store them, you have to pop the armor piece open. Let me see if I can do this easily, and basically store them on the back. Let me pause for a second and see if I can do that in a moment. I don't know how well you can see it, but I did get both of the washizakis in there, and it does seem to fold up. So yeah, I guess the washizakis are only designed to stay on the back because they're only shown on the back in vehicle mode, and you don't see them in vehicle unless you're looking again through that back window, though having the swords there does help hide some of the robot texture. I would definitely say if you want a good vehicle, get Autobot Drift. If you want a good robot, honestly, go with the Robots in Disguise Drift. Robots in Disguise Drift, from my experience with the two molds, has better production. Didn't have all those loose joints. This version does. I'm gonna have to use some like shoe polish, floor polish, maybe even just chapstick to tighten up these joints, and that frustrates me because I don't want to have to do that. I don't want to have to modify my toy using outside materials in order to enjoy it, and this is kind of floppy. I did, however, figure out that there is a way to get the ankles to be a little less floppy flop. Let me just unpeg this. I actually do like the transformation. The transformation for this is actually honestly rather nice. But it's just, it's not my favorite figure that I've ever had. There we go. Just exposing these legs here. I would say that, so normally when I first get it out of the package, the feet were like this. Ta-da, like that. And as you can see, they flop. I would not be surprised if this fell over. Let me push it over. There we go. As you can see, it just kind of flops. The reason why is because the front wheel panels, since they rotate, they don't click into place, but they're at an angle where they help lock the ankles in place. You can see I can still rotate the ankles there, but these pieces help add just enough friction that helps pose them. It also gives a little more bulk to his thighs, which is kind of nice. You can see like that, it's angled, and that helps prevent it from flopping over. Overall, not a bad drift. I would say that it's not my favorite figure, but compared to some of the other figures I've gotten from Transformers, it's not the best. Though it does have a really cool transformation gimmick up here, up in the torso, where it just kind of flips around like that. I kind of appreciated that from a transformation perspective. Kind of a neat idea. Also, what's really weird is the shoulders, the elbows, and the knees are all, actually the knees and the hips are all on soft ratchets, meaning basically everything that's on a ratchet is going to be a good joint. Everything that isn't on a ratchet is kind of floppy flop, which is a little disappointing. Albeit locking these ankles, like I showed, does help it stand. And of course, you're going to have to pop out the Washizaki just to flip them around so you can pose them. Also, it's really weird because these are hexagonal pegs and they go into circular holes, meaning that while they do have some friction, it isn't a lot. I would say overall, he looks cool. Yeah, he looks cool in robot mode, but has some posability issues due to the floppy joints. He's got an amazing vehicle mode, and not a bad transformation. I mean, it's not difficult, but it's not easy either. It's just kind of, it's a nice transformation, considering some of them, looking at you, are a little more difficult. I'd say if you're a fan of Drift, pick him up if you want him. But you can pass on this one. Unless you really want this figure, you can pass. I personally am a fan of Drift, the character, and I was kind of like, well, I already have one Drift. Let's see how this one compares. So until next time, I've been Metagross Freak, and have a great one. Honor.